Well, good morning. How are you? No headset, so I have no idea what's going on. Trying to adjust this microphone. I don't know how this happens. I really don't, you know. Uh, but it falls every once in a while, and then I don't know what's going on. So anyhow, how's everybody doing? I found out probably long after you did about Jimmy Kimmel last night, and I looked at it and I said, "Wow, this is just what I was warning people about yesterday. That censorship's on the way." You know, people are complaining about it, but let me tell you something. Watch your neighbors now, because we're getting near that point where, the KGB did it, the Gestapo did it. You get pissed off at a friend of yours or something like that in an argument, go mention it to the local, I guess, ICE agent or something like that, and next thing you know, the guy's gone. In the middle of the night, they'll just pick him up and they'll disappear. He's forcing the American people to take a decisive action in not a nice way, I think, and that's what really bothers me. There's not going to be a negotiated settlement in this case. All right, it's going to be. I hope not, but I see no other alternative but violence. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope something's done politically. I don't believe there'll be midterms now. I think the ultimate power play is coming, and all those people that are sitting around waiting and letting him do what he's doing and waiting for the midterm elections and saying, then we'll just get rid of all this stuff, are going to be screwed. Okay? It's really he's gotten out of hand. He's full-blown dictator. And what's that guy, Stephen Miller is the guy that's doing it, most of it. That's a guy that you want to go after. That's a guy that needs to be charged with treason and hung, or whatever they do to treason and punish treason these days. I'm really upset, but I don't know what to do. You're looking at the end of democracy as we know it. You're looking at the destruction of the American way. And the funny thing about it is that, I always knew these people existed out there. And I guess this is like a little bit of me, going along like everybody else was. But I always knew these racists were out there. And that these people that favored a different form of government, whether it be our party or fascism or whatever you want to call it. But I always knew they were there. They had an audience. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. If nobody was listening to these people, if nobody was listening to I don't remember the guy's name, the head of the Nazi Party in America, if nobody was listening to him, we'd never hear about it. But people were listening to him. And I think every white person, just about every white person can say to themselves they've had an experience that has made them wonder why we're, allowing all these other people to come into the country. My experience, I've had, be honest with you, my experience with immigrants has been mostly either on the phone, or if I have to talk to somebody about returning an item or something like that, they'll give me somebody from, they speak English, India or Pakistan or something like that, but they speak it with accents that I can't understand, and I try awfully hard to be polite and ask them, can you repeat this or find somebody else that can tell me what's going on, please? You know? And then, of course, I get if they're in person in front of me, I get this look like you just scumbag, racist pig. No, I just want to, it's my money and I want to know what's going on with it. So if you could quite possibly explain it to me a little better, I would appreciate it. But you don't get that. You get because they're abused, and I understand that. But friends of mine used to work for this outfit in Nebraska that sold. I don't remember what the product was. It was anyhow. It was the largest calling centers, and it was all calling centers. You called, you got Nebraska to order whatever you wanted to out of a catalog. It was usually in Nebraska, and I believe in the Omaha area. And then gradually it became more and more. You needed to be, in a call center, and the credit card companies that were the ones that went out and did it, and they sent all your phone calls overseas to I don't know, England, Bangladesh, Pakistan. I don't know where the countries were, but when I did talk to a couple of people that I could understand, and I'd ask them, where are you? And they tell me India. And they name a town that I never heard of, but that was those were the only negative problems I had with immigrants, and that was, like I said, that was usually on the 99% of the time was on the phone, and they weren't really immigrants. That just was dealing with foreigners. In person, I haven't had a problem with that I can remember anyhow with anybody from another country. They live differently sometimes. Back in the back when I was in high school and whatnot, we met these kids, exchange students. They were quite different, but they were, they weren't bad. Their influences came from America, not from overseas. They didn't develop their personalities from their countries. They developed their personalities from the the kids in the school, and that was somewhat bad, because they found out they knew more than the kids in the school did, and they were better educated, better athletes. It pisses people off. But that's because their lifestyle is different, I look around today, and Jimmy Kimmel's just the second rather, but you're going to see the rest of the late night people go if they comment that they don't play to the line. And then you're going to have either Christian TV late at night, or you're going to have pictures of Donald Trump, which is going to be similar to what happened in Orwell's 1984. All right? And, it wasn't too long ago. There used to be I don't know whether it's still there or not, but there used to be a light on the television set indicating that your TV was on, and it was on cable. And the cables that they install go both. There was a lot of rumors around that they went both ways, and that was Orwell's deal. That the cable company, transmitted and received. They transmitted programs and then received your images in return. So you really couldn't say or do anything, in front of the TV, because you would be broadcasting it to everybody. I don't know what's going to happen. I think this medium, the internet, is already quite controlled by governments. So I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to live forever, so I'm not going to be around forever. But I don't know how long these people that are out there talking are going to be able to be out there talking. get very concerned with people I know in New Jersey saying things that are, to a certain degree, inflammatory. I know these personalities. I know that's just the way they are. They're not, they're extroverts, and they're very, they can be very inflammatory from time to time, but they don't think, they're actually going to do anything or they mean anything, but that's just the way, they are. I don't know whether we can change anything now, but sitting around and waiting for the midterms is definitely not going to happen. Even if they do happen, they'll be so corrupt that we'll never see good results, and they'll be tied up for years until Trump decides to either leave office or dies. I think one of the things he's going to do is try to revamp the order of succession. And that's going to piss Vance off, no end. But he's probably going to try to either get Barron or Ivanka in there instead. One of his kids, I'm not sure that they're willing to do that, but, he'd like to keep this thing going. If he has to, he'll use Vance, because Vance is just a little pussy. He'll just do whatever. It's like the comments I saw this morning. He's just somebody who does whatever Trump tells him to do, which is surprising because he once called Trump a Nazi. That's not a man I trust with anything. And if I'm a Republican, I don't trust him to carry on the programs, But some of these old white people in the Republican Party are just amazing, Some of them were old enough to know somebody who was either a Holocaust victim or a soldier in World War II at the time. They met sometime in their lifetime. They've met them. And, they don't care. They don't believe half the stuff. We were watching some movie, some television show about guys. This guy came back from Vietnam and he got spat on and everything. Yeah, you saw that. Vietnam was not a very popular war. Because the victory meant nothing. The country was 6,000 miles away, had not done anything directly to the United States. We basically took over the defense of Vietnam from the French after the French got their asses kicked. Should have learned from them, but we didn't. Look, I foresee pirate television and pirate internets and whatnot operating outside the justice system in the jurisdiction of the United States per se, and we'll wait and see what happens there. Because I'm operating on an internet that's not based in the United States. The programs that I'm dealing with maybe, but the actual internet connection I have is not based in the United States. It's based down here. So if you're watching me on YouTube, my YouTube transmission is coming from, I don't know, Peru or someplace like that. I don't know for sure. It's like the TV there I watch comes out of Peru. All right, look, I'm just really down, bummed out, Let me give you a quick thing on tonight's game. I don't even know who's playing. Today it's the Bills and the Dolphins. I don't know. The night games have been very good lately. Thursday night games have never been totally that exciting. So you've got, Buffalo versus Miami. Buffalo should walk all over Miami, but we'll see what happens there. All right, so let's do your things, guys. Subscribe, get notified when I'm doing something. comment if you'd like. You know, I got a gentleman that's out there commenting on me for the last 2 days, and he's they're very nice, compliments, and I appreciate that. I'm just an old fat guy sitting down here saying what I think. So it's going to be interesting coming up to the weekend and whatnot. I'll still try to do some football stories. I can't do college because I don't get enough information down here about college football. And when I make my picks on ESPN, I'm so far wrong this year, more so than I have been any other year, that it's a sort of can't predict situation. All right, so that's it for me today. So don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you tomorrow, God willing, and the creek don't rise.